May God's grace and peace fill your morning. Before we dive into prayer, I want to invite you to take a deep breath. Just that. Pause for a moment. Breathe. Not with the rush of the clock or the weight of what's ahead, but with the calm of someone who knows that God is already here. Maybe today you woke up feeling a little lost, right? With that emptiness that's hard to explain, that inner silence that not even music can fix. You try to pray, but the words just don't come. You listen to worship songs, maybe even watch a service, but your heart still feels cold, distant, disconnected. The truth is, some days the soul wakes up tired of fighting alone, tired of smiling on the outside while screaming on the inside. And if today is one of those days for you, I want to tell you from the heart you're not alone. Waking up without strength isn't a sign of weak faith. Sometimes it's just your body saying it's had enough. Sometimes it's your heart crying out for God's touch. And you know, faith doesn't always feel strong. Sometimes faith is simply keeping on breathing when everything inside you wants to stop. But it's in those exact moments, yes, those, when God leans in and speaks closer. So if your faith feels small today, if the light in your eyes has dimmed, don't blame yourself. God isn't looking for perfect Christians. He's looking for honest hearts. Hearts that even in the middle of darkness still choose to say, Lord, I don't know how to keep going, but I'm still trusting you. Many live with their eyes open, but their hearts shut. The world is full of Christians who are busy, tired, distracted, and they haven't even realized they're spiritually blind. But today, right here, right now, God wants to touch your eyes. He wants to reignite the light that fear has tried to put out. He wants to remind you that He's still in control, even when everything feels out of place. So before anything else, let me ask you this. Can you pause now, just for a few minutes, and place the start of this day in God's hands? Close your eyes if you can. Quiet your soul. Let's allow His word to come in before anything else. Because before the day begins, let God begin in you. Now listen to this promise. May the Lord answer you in the day of trouble. May the name of the God of Jacob protect you. May He send you help from the sanctuary and sustain you from Zion. Psalm 21:2. This promise is for anyone who feels out of strength, for those who woke up at their limit, for you. In the next few minutes, we're going to walk through this prayer together, and my hope is that by the end, you won't just feel relief, but you'll start to see again with the eyes of faith. What makes a Christian spiritually blind? It's not a lack of Bible knowledge, it's not skipping church, it's the routine, the same exhausting cycle that slowly drowns intimacy with God. It's the rush that steals away quiet moments. It's the fear that silences honest prayer. There are so many people walking around with open eyes but a shut-down heart. They sing the songs, say the right things, know the scriptures by heart, but deep down, they feel distant. Like they're going through the motions, but the fire has long gone out. Jesus once said, "If your eyes are healthy, your whole body will be full of light." But what happens when the eyes of your soul are distracted, tired, wounded? The light dims, and that's when darkness begins, not around you, but inside. Spiritual blindness often doesn't look like sin. It looks like busyness. It looks like numbness. It feels like praying and hearing nothing back. It feels like trying to trust but not feeling anything at all. Sometimes we don't lose sight of God because we stop believing. We lose sight of Him because we've stopped looking. And when we stop looking, we stop seeing. When we stop seeing, we stop hoping. And when hope fades and faith begins to crumble, but even in the fog, even in the silence, He hasn't moved. He's still near, closer than your next breath. Lord, I'm here. We're here. Tired, worn, uncertain. And we're not pretending anymore. No masks today, no religious speeches, just a cry from a heart that doesn't want to walk blind anymore. Today, I cry out for spiritual vision, not just to understand your word, not just to hear a good message, but to truly see you again, to see your fingerprints in the small details of the day, to see your purpose, even in the pain, to see your hand, even when nothing makes sense. Open the eyes of my faith, Lord. I don't want to live distracted, stuck in fear or moving on autopilot. Take away this fog that keeps settling over my soul, this spiritual tiredness that blocks my ability to recognize you in the middle of my battles. So many times, I try to figure everything out. I look for signs, for explanations, for someone to say the right words. But deep down, what I really need is you. I need to hear your voice, not in thunder, not in miracles, but in the silence. Speak to me, Lord, even if it's quiet, even if it's just a whisper. Let me sense you in the stillness. Let my soul recognize you in the moments when everything else feels uncertain. Guide me when my steps are shaky, when I'm afraid to move forward, when I question if I'm still on the right path. Sometimes I feel like I've lost my way, not because I turned my back on you, but because life got heavy, because my heart got tired, because it's hard to keep walking when I can't see the road. But you, Lord, you never lose sight of me. Even when I wander, even when I'm stuck, even when I'm confused or numb or doubting, you're still there. Like a father who watches his child learning to walk, you don't yell when I fall. You come closer, you pick me up, you teach me again. So today I ask, don't let me just survive another day. Guide me through it. Hold my heart when it wants to give up. Keep me close when I'm tempted to run. And when I'm surrounded by noise, confusion, or expectations, remind me that you're not found in the chaos. You're found in the quiet, in the simple prayer, in the honest cry, in the broken place. I don't want to live based on what I see with my physical eyes anymore, because what I see around me often overwhelms me. But what I believe, what I know deep down, is that you are faithful. Even when I feel nothing, you are still moving. Even when I hear nothing, you are still speaking. So I lift my voice, not with perfect words, but with a heart that truly wants to see again. See you, trust you, follow you. You are the light I've been missing. You are the voice I long to hear. You are the way, even when I don't see the map. Lead me, Lord, not just to where I want to go, but to where you want me to be. Even if it's unfamiliar, even if it's slower than I expected, even if it looks like a desert, as long as you're there, I'll go. Because I'd rather be blind and held by you than see everything and walk alone. God, I surrender, not just with words, but with everything that's in me today. My thoughts are scattered, my emotions are heavy, and my heart feels like it's carrying too much. I've tried to manage it all, tried to fix what's broken, to understand what's confusing, to make sense of what doesn't make sense. But this morning I'm done trying to control what only you can carry. I give you my day, the chaos, the to-do lists, the expectations, the fears I don't even say out loud. I give you my confusion, that inner fog that keeps clouding my decisions. I give you my doubts, not because I'm proud of them, but because they're real. I give you the version of me that's still unsure, still healing, still learning to trust. I don't want to control anymore. I've learned that control is just an illusion anyway. The more I try to hold on, the more I feel it slipping through my hands. So instead I let go, not with defeat, but with surrender. Not because I'm giving up, but because I'm finally letting you take over. Even when I don't feel anything, I choose to seek you. Not because it's easy, but because you're worth it. Faith isn't always fire, it's often a whisper, a choice, a small step forward when everything inside me wants to stay stuck. So even if I wake up numb, even if the skies look gray, I'm still showing up. I'm still leaning into you, I'm still opening my heart, slowly but sincerely. And even when I don't understand, I throw myself into your arms. Because I trust that you're not offended by my questions. You're not intimidated by my weakness. You're not shocked by my weariness. You've always seen it. You've always known. And you've always stayed. There's something sacred about surrender. It's not passive. It's not lazy. It's brave. It takes courage to admit that I'm not the one holding everything together, but you are. And you never drop what you hold. So, here I am. I give you my heart today. Not just the shiny parts, but the anxious ones, the confused ones, the discouraged ones. I give you the parts of me that I usually hide behind smiles and responsibilities, the fears I've carried for too long, the pressure I feel to have it all figured out, the guilt of not being spiritual enough. I lay all of it at your feet and I don't take it back because I know you're not asking for performance. You're asking for presence. You're not waiting for me to have all the right words. You just want my heart, quiet, surrendered, open. So lead me today, Lord, one step at a time. No rush, no pressure, just grace. Grace for this hour, grace for this season, grace to keep walking with you, even when the road ahead isn't clear. I don't need to see the whole picture. I just need to know you're in it. And that's enough. There's a story tucked into the pages of 2 Kings 6 that speaks louder to our hearts than most sermons ever could. Elisha, the prophet of God, was surrounded by an enemy army. The city was encircled by horses, chariots, and soldiers, all coming to capture him. It was the kind of situation that, from a human perspective, screamed defeat. No way out, no backup, just fear. His servant saw it first. He woke up, looked outside, and panic hit like a wave. He ran to Elisha with a voice full of fear, saying, "What shall we do?" He saw the enemy, he saw the danger, he saw everything wrong and none of what was right. But Elisha, he didn't flinch. He didn't panic. He didn't even stand up. Instead, he prayed a quiet, powerful prayer that holds more hope than we often realize. "Lord, open his eyes so that he may see." That's it. That's all he said. And suddenly the servant's eyes were opened. Not his physical ones. They were already working just fine. But his spiritual eyes, the ones that see beyond the surface, were awakened. And what he saw changed everything. Because around the enemy's army, on the mountains, all around them, there were horses and chariots of fire. Heaven's army, God's defense, angelic forces already in position. The protection had been there the entire time, but he couldn't see it until God opened his eyes. That's the kind of clarity we need today. Sometimes we look at our lives and all we see is the enemy circling. Bills we can't pay, relationships falling apart, depression that won't lift, unanswered prayers, doors that won't open, and fear rises like a flood because everything in our human sight tells us we're losing. But heaven is not blind to what you're going through. God has already sent help. His presence surrounds you, even if your emotions don't feel it yet. Elisha didn't pray for God to bring protection. He prayed for eyes to see the protection already there. That's the key. That's the miracle you might need today, not for your situation to change, but for your vision to change. Because the help is already on the way. The heavens are already in motion. The angels are already surrounding you. And God is already doing more than you can imagine. But the question is, can you see it? You might be asking, like that servant, what shall I do? And the answer is the same. Let God open your eyes. Let him show you that you're not as alone as you feel. Let him reveal that what looks like defeat is actually divine setup. Let him remind you that while the battle is real, the victory is already written. Sometimes God won't remove the enemy. Sometimes he simply reveals that the enemy is outnumbered. So today may your faith see what your eyes cannot. May you remember that even when you're surrounded by darkness, you're also surrounded by light. Even when the enemy is close, God is closer. And even when it feels like nothing is happening, heaven is already working on your behalf. God, I come before you not asking for a quick fix or a sudden change in my circumstances. What I need today is something deeper, something more lasting. Change my inside before you change my outside. Because honestly, no matter how much things around me shift, if my heart stays the same, I'll keep feeling lost, empty, and stuck. So start there, Lord. Work in the hidden places. Purify my vision. Help me stop focusing on what I lack, because it's so easy to get caught up in the things that aren't there yet. Help me to see what I already have in you. The peace, the love, the strength that never runs out. The grace that meets me in my weakness. The hope that refuses to be crushed. Give me a humble heart, one that's not proud or self-reliant, but open and soft. I want to admit when I'm wrong, when I need you, when I can't do it on my own. I want to be teachable, to receive, to be molded by your Spirit, because pride blinds me just as much as busyness and fear do. Give me a living faith, not just head knowledge or religious routine, but a faith that breathes and moves and fights for life. A faith that clings to you when the storms rage, that stands even when the ground shakes beneath me. I want a faith that grows stronger, not weaker, in hard times. Give me a renewed mind, one that doesn't get stuck in the same old patterns of doubt and worry. Help me to think differently about myself, about others, and about you. Help me to see the world through your eyes, not through the eyes of fear, regret, or bitterness. Help me to believe in the new things you're doing, even if I can't see the full picture yet. Transformation isn't just about changing habits or circumstances. It's about you making me new from the inside out. It's about breaking down walls that keep me from fully living the abundant life you promised. It's about becoming who you created me to be. Sometimes this process feels slow and frustrating. Sometimes I want to skip the waiting and jump straight to the results. But you remind me that you're working even when I don't see it, that growth often happens beneath the surface, in the quiet moments of surrender and patience. So I pray for the courage to stay in the process, to keep seeking you, even when change seems far away, to trust that you're doing a good work in me, even if I can't feel it every day. I don't want to be the same person I was yesterday. I want my heart, my mind, my soul to be different, more like yours, more like Jesus. And I believe that with you, that transformation is possible. So God, change me, change my vision, change my heart, change my mind. Make me new, make me whole, make me faithful, because I need you more than anything else. And I'm ready to be changed by your love. Even when I don't understand what's happening around me, I choose to trust. Even when my heart is tired and my spirit feels weak, I keep believing. Even when I've been walking in darkness and feeling spiritually blind for a while, I know you, Lord, are still surrounding me with your light. There are moments when faith feels like a fragile thread, stretched thin by doubt, fear, and weariness. Days when every promise feels distant, and the pain weighs so heavy it almost crushes hope. But faith isn't about always seeing clearly. It's about holding on when everything inside screams to let go. It's about trusting the one who holds the universe, even when our own world feels like it's unraveling. God is still writing miracles with hands we cannot see. You don't have to understand the full story to believe the miracle is unfolding. The wind fills the sails of a ship even when the sky is overcast. And in the same way, God moves in your life, even when the path is clouded by uncertainty and confusion. His power is not limited by our vision or understanding. You have not been forgotten. Not today, not tomorrow, and not ever. No matter how far you feel from peace or how heavy your burden seems, God's love is nearer than your next breath. He is not distant or silent. He is right there, weaving grace and mercy into your story, even when you can't feel it. Sometimes the waiting feels endless, and the silence is deafening. But that silence is never empty. It's a sacred space where God prepares your heart, where unseen hands are at work crafting a breakthrough. It's the stillness before the storm calms, the pause before the sunrise. So stand firm on that truth. Stand firm in the kind of faith that doesn't rely on feelings, circumstances, or visible results. Let your heart declare what your eyes cannot always see. In the quiet of your soul, say it again: I may not understand, but I trust. I may be exhausted, but I still believe. I may feel blind, but I know God's light surrounds me. This is the faith that carries us through the darkest nights and the toughest battles. This is the faith that God honors and cherishes. This is the faith that changes everything. Faith is not just a feeling or an idea. It's a choice, a daily decision to keep trusting when the natural tendency is to doubt or give up. It's the courage to believe in the promises of God when all evidence seems to point the other way. It's the strength to keep walking forward when the road looks unclear and the destination uncertain. Remember, some of the greatest stories in Scripture were written by people who held on to faith when they couldn't see the end. Abraham believed God's promise long before he had a son. Joseph trusted God's plan even while imprisoned and forgotten. Moses led a nation through the desert, unsure of the future, but confident in God's presence. David sang psalms of praise even when enemies surrounded him, and the disciples followed Jesus, not fully understanding his mission, but trusting in his love and power. Your story is part of this long line of faithful believers. You are not alone in your doubts, your fears, or your struggles. God's faithfulness has not failed before, and it will not fail now. He is the same yesterday, today, and forever. So keep your eyes on Him. Keep your heart open. Keep your faith alive, even in the silence, even in the struggle, even when the path is dark and your steps feel unsure. Because God's light is breaking through that darkness. Because God's presence is surrounding you. Because God's promises are true, and His love never fails. No matter how the day unfolds, you are held by the one who never lets go. You are loved beyond measure by the God who sees you, knows you, and cares for you deeply. And that truth is unshakable. Let it be the anchor for your soul today and every day. You are not forgotten. You are not alone. You are surrounded by God's unfailing light and love. Hold on to that, breathe it in, and proclaim it with all your heart. Even when you can't see it all, even when you don't understand, you trust. You believe, you stand firm, because your God is faithful, and His light will always overcome the darkness. Thank you for this morning. Thank you for this brand new day, handcrafted by your grace and filled with mercy we didn't have to earn. Before the world demands anything from us, before the noise, the pressure, the emails, the responsibilities, you invited us to be still in your presence. And here we are. We know this world is loud. It pulls at us in every direction. The fear, the anxiety, the distractions, they try to blind us from seeing what matters. But even in the middle of all that noise, your Spirit is gently calling us closer, whispering truth, pulling us back into alignment with what's real, what's eternal. Father, for every soul listening right now, every person who woke up feeling numb or overwhelmed or just tired, I ask, open their eyes. Open the eyes of their heart. Let them see that you are closer than they think. Let them feel you in the quiet corners of their day. Show them that you've never left, not for a second. Renew hope where it's fading. Breathe life into places that feel dead. Reignite faith that's been buried under disappointment and silence. Calm every restless heart. Speak peace into the chaos. And remind each one of us that even when we don't understand your ways, we can still trust your heart. Teach us to walk by faith today, not by what we see, not by what we feel, but by the truth of who you are. You are still good, still faithful, still present, and still working. Let every moment of this day, every conversation, every challenge, every thought, bring glory to your name. May our lives reflect your light, even when the world around us feels dark. We place it all in your hands today. Our schedules, our families, our fears, our plans. We're not here to figure it all out. We're here to surrender, to follow, and to trust. In the name of Jesus, amen. May the Lord be the light in your steps today. May He guide you with love, sustain you with peace, and renew you with a faith that sees beyond the circumstances. If this prayer has touched your heart, may that quiet yes inside you be your offering to Him. If you feel the weight of something you can't carry alone, know this: you are not carrying it alone. God is with you, and we are standing with you in prayer. No matter what lies ahead today, no matter what the world may throw your way, remember this simple truth: before the day begins, let God begin in you. And when He begins, everything changes.